I want to welcome Republican congressional candidate for California's 53rd District, Michael Oristian, who is running for the seat of retiring Congresswoman Susan Davis. Hi, Michael. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, so getting right into it, the 53rd District is historically blue district.
Sure.
So how do you plan to appeal to that constituency of voters who typically would go for a Democrat candidate?
Sure. Well, I think I have a lot of center-right appeal, right? I have a background in environmental engineering from Stanford, so people know that, I'm not a climate denier. Of course, I want to solve our energy needs, but I'm not here to hamstring the economy in doing it.
And so as far as, that is one of the big issues, like you mentioned, you do have a little bit of a moderate policy stance when it comes to these broader issues. Like you mentioned, you're advocating for environmental reforms, but you're not a supporter of the Green New Deal, like it says on your website. You're also pushing for, this was interesting, pushing for a tax on legal marijuana to pay for opioid, meth, and controlled substance treatment. But you're also advocating for the repeal of Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, which polling nationwide has showed that there's still a lot of Democratic support for that legislation. So how do you plan to gain support from voters that, that prioritize health care as one of their top issues?
Yeah, I think one of the key things that the Trump administration has done well here is pushing for transparency. I think we should have a sort of most favored nations approach when it comes to, Blue Cross gets to only pay $17 for an x-ray, and here's some person off the street pays $700 direct. I think pricing transparency is key. I also think that we should have interstate health insurance. We have interstate auto insurance. There's no reason why we should not be able to buy health insurance across state lines. And I think, I think a lot of that incumbency, I always say confusion favors the incumbent, right? So it's an extra regulation that kind of puts a little bit more power in the hands of the health insurance companies right now. And
for people that are skeptical, obviously the rollout of Obamacare, a lot of people were skeptical of that. Now it seems that people have warmed up to that idea. So as far as the skeptics go out there, how do you appeal to them? And they're still worried about, are you going to take my private health insurance? What are you going to do to replace that? We have this big debate happening on the presidential level. So how does that fit into your policy stance?
Yeah, my policy stance is certainly that we have to repeal. You know that the Obama administration is being sued for some $12 billion for taking on a high-risk corridor. I railed against the ACA in 2010. A lot of my predictions have come true, so I think we really need to keep the private option. There's too many stories that people are unaware of where people in single payer systems are simply waiting too long for good care. We need to visit this with all of the market forces that come to bear.
All right, and before we run out of time, I want to ask you, what do you think about a possible presidential endorsement from President Trump? Would you accept it?
Absolutely.
Do you think it would help you win over voters?
Absolutely. I think I'm the strongest Make America Great Again doctrine candidate here running in the 53rd.
Yeah.
Because I support all his policies. People say, is there anything you don't like about President Trump? I say, no. He wears his ties a little bit too long, but that's about it. From a policy standpoint, I'm 100% behind him.
You're on board.
So when people think of Michael, I want them to think of Make America Great Again.
All right, and where can voters...
I want to take away his Twitter. Other Republican candidates on this platform have said, I really wish he would stop tweeting. I think Americans realize that has been the conduit for him.
That's his platform.
That's been the way he's been able to get his message direct.
Right.
The obfuscation of the news.
How are you feeling going into tomorrow? Of course, early voting already started in California, but how do you feel about the prospects of the votes tomorrow?
It's going to be exciting. I think I think the polls are too limited in being able to predict the future. We've had a tremendous amount of support just from our social media campaigns. I'm the only Republican candidate actually interviewing the homeless. You can see that on my Facebook page. I'm doing a lot of outreach and a lot of critical, creative thinking. Think about how to solve some of these problems.
All right. And where can voters find out more information about you and your campaign, what you stand for?
Sure. mo4ca. .com will direct you to oristianforcongress.com, and you'll learn more.
I have there we have it on the screen there for our viewers to see.
All right, great.
Yeah,
that's what
there we go. All right, thank you so much, Michael, for joining us, and good luck tomorrow.
All right, thanks, John.
All right, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.